Hello, my PCS smartists. It is time to create your ocean wave collage.
Week 1. Paint 2 pages with a value scale of blue and green in horizontal stripes and leave to dry.
Supplies here, I've got a couple sheets of paper, my paintbrush, my water bowl, and my watercolor paints. Now if you do not have watercolor paints, you can always color the outside edge with markers and then use the water to spread out the ink of the markers. When you get your paintbrush, you want to scrub it on the bottom of the bowl in order to clean the brush well. I'm going to start by adding a little bit of water to my blue so that it can move about. And I am going to paint my first stripe across the top of the page. I want this to be the darkest blue. In fact, I could even add a little bit of purple to make it extremely dark at the top. As I go down the page making my horizontal lines, I will be adding a little bit more water to my brush. If I need to add more paint, I will not be painting down here. I will be painting up here and then adding a little bit more water to my brush in order to move the paint down the page. That way, the blue goes from dark to light. And the more water you add, the lighter the blue gets. You can also mix in a little bit of yellow to make a bit of sea green. Yellow and blue makes green. And if you add just a tiny bit of yellow, that creates that teal or blue-green. Blue-green is an intermediate color. When you mix a primary and a secondary color that's right next to that primary, you get an intermediate color. You'll notice that when I want to make my color lighter, I don't even add extra paint. In fact, if you get a little bit too dark paint down at the bottom, you can always add more water and mix it in. Now you can see that the color goes from dark blue at the top to lighter and lighter and lighter blue as it goes down the page and has more water. This is called a value scale. If your brush starts to make little stipples or dots like that, just add a little bit more water so that it spreads out nicer. Also notice that instead of painting with just my finger muscles, I'm painting with my whole arm muscle. And if this is a little bit tiring for you, you can always take breaks. Since this one's going to be the sky, it's actually upside down. And if you would like to add a sun, you can do that at the top. That is the end of week 1 because these have to dry.
Week 2. Tear 1 page into horizontal strips and glue them down overlapping from top to bottom to make waves, and add details with a pen if you want.
Welcome back to week 2 of Ocean Waves Collage. We are going to be using our fingers to tear paper. Now we would like to tear this in a horizontal line. And so we are going to hold it vertically, tear off a dark strip. If it starts to go too far in one direction, you can pull it. I feel like that is too much. Get rid of that. Ooh, that's a nice strip. Looks very much like a wave. Now I am going to pull again. Ooh, look at that strip. Very pretty. Now one trick that I'm doing is I'm pulling the light side first. I'm pulling the light side first so that I can get this white paper on the top.
Let's talk strategy. You will notice that as I tear, I'm tearing away from my hands. But check it out. When I first start, my two hands are very close to each other. In fact, that is how I start my tear, with my two hands right next door to each other on the top of the paper. So check it out. I put my two hands very close together and start to pull away so that this white section is on top. I tear away, and now my hands are not neighbors anymore, and I can tear off any of the extra white that I need to.
The white part of the paper looks like the crest of the waves, so it's very, very beautiful. I'm also making sure to keep these in order just to make sure I know which one's the darkest, and the value scale in between, and then finally the lightest.
Don't be fooled, tearing is actually slow work. I've sped up the video.
When we glue this down, you want your darkest wave at the top. I'm going to tear off some of this white part of the paper. This wave is the farthest away, and that's why it looks so dark. I'm going to cover up some of my sun here. And I am going to glue this down. Then I'm going to take the next darkest piece of paper. I always used to sing this little parody to remind you that whatever piece of paper is smallest, that is the piece of paper that you're going to put the glue on. Glue the backside of the little thing. Glue the backside of the little thing. Glue the backside of the little thing. Hold it down for way too long. Glue the backside of the little thing. Glue the backside of the little thing. Glue the backside of the little thing. Hold it down for way too long. And I always put the white, that torn part, I put the white on top. If you tore in the opposite direction, you actually will not have the white of the wave. I always want to make sure it overlaps a little bit. Now if there's a part of it that doesn't overlap, that's okay. You still have your painting in the background. There might be some smaller pieces that you want to glue on. Throw away any extra little pieces. That is the end of week 2, but if you need extra time next week, you've got it.
Week 3. If you have time, draw patterns with a pen in each value of the wave collage and add details that you want.
Welcome back to week 3 of Ocean Wave Collage. What I like to use is a Uniball pen. Uniball pens are really good at writing on top of painted surfaces without getting messed up. You could just use a ballpoint pen, or if you need more time on week 3 to do other things, you certainly do not need to use this time to draw. Create some patterns in the waves. Because it's so far away, the boat is very, very tiny. Upon doing that pattern, I'm reminded that you can make little W or M shapes that look like birds in the sky. So you can also do that. Of course, they're very far away, so you're going to make them very, very tiny. If you don't have time for this step, or if you don't have a pen that works on painted surfaces, that is totally fine. What you have created is beautiful enough. You've got layers of paper glued down. That's a collage. You've got texture of the paper. You've got the different value or lightness or darkness of your waves. And all of that turned out to be so beautiful. I hope you enjoyed your ocean wave collage, can't wait to see them on Canvas.
Remember, upload a pic of your project to Canvas for a grade.